Hi, and welcome to Bucks Screencasts. Screencast about software development and testing, focused on JavaScript. The goal of this screencast is to be focused and under 5 minutes long. I'm going to assume you have Git node with npm installed. Okay, if this is the case, let's start by creating an empty directory. We're going to build a simple npm package called micro-machine. And we're going to start by writing a README. So micro-machine is going to be a minimalistic state machine implementation. State machine is basically an object with multiple states and defined transitions from state to state. In layman's terms, of course. If you want to know more, Google it. Let's write usage for our simple tool. This is going to describe how we are going to use the tool before we even start with writing it. This method is called README-driven development, and it means that we start by writing a README before we even start with code. This is invented by Tom Preston Werner, one of the co-founders of GitHub. It's a really good method. I highly recommend using it. Okay, so we are going to start by requiring our library, and then we are going to create a new instance, and we're going to pass the initial state to it. With this, we're going to check the state, and state is going to be a property of this new object, and this would have to return initial here. Okay, next we're going to define a simple transitions from state to state. So let's define the first transition, and the DSL for this is going to be transition 4 confirm. So confirm is going to be a name of transition, and here we are going to pass starting and the ending state. So starting state is going to be initial, and the ending state is going to be confirmed. Okay, let's define another transition called reset. This is going to go from confirmed back to initial. Okay, and after we define transitions like this, we're going to need a way to trigger a transition. So let's add a new method in our object called trigger, and we're going to trigger a confirmed transition. When this happens, we expect the state to change from initial to confirmed. So let's now validate that the state is confirmed. Okay, let's get down to code. So let's first initialize the package JSON, and let's define our dev dependencies. They're going to be Mocha and expect. And yeah, let's use a standard as well for linting. So let's install it with npm install standard Mocha and expect.js. You can use any testing framework you want. I really like Mocha. Okay, let's start with writing our first test. So we're going to require expect and describe our first scenario. And we're going to first test if our testing framework works by writing a failing test first. That's a good practice in TDD, to write a test that fails first instead of making it green from the start. So let's expect true to be false. Okay, and if we write, it should be an error. Okay, that's great. Let's change it to true and run it again, and it works. Great.